So, in our Torah, modesty is king. A woman that is not modest is not someone that's married just to her husband. She's married to everyone that looks at her. A woman that refuses to be modest is a woman that refuses to be a loyal wife. Why? Because loyalty means you not only are going to be intimate with your husband. Loyalty also means that you're only going to be in the mind of your husband and not everybody else's. If you allow yourself to walk around in such a way that every average Joe can imagine what you look like naked in 2 seconds because you've already given him half the pie, you're not loyal to your husband. You're loyal to the attention you like that people give you. So, Rivka, Kodesh Kodeshim, that she is, a living Sefer Torah, what is the first thing she does as soon as she realizes that her husband is down the street? She immediately covers herself even more. What, she wasn't covered? Of course she was covered. But she covered herself even more. Why? I want to show you, Yitzchak, I'm ready to be married. I'm not interested in anything else. I'm ready to be married. I'm ready to be a wife. I'm not looking for attention from the Walmart clerk. I'm not looking for attention from the painter. Oh, wow, it's a nice dress on you have, miss. It's a nice dress you have, miss. How many kids you have? Wow, it doesn't look like it. Why are you talking to the painter? Why are you in the house alone with the painter? Where's your husband? Oh, he's working. Okay, so the painter should be working where he is. You're not allowed to be alone in the house with a strange man. I don't care if he's the painter. I don't care if he's your brother. Not allowed. So now after that, Yitzchak understands this is a holy of holy. So Yitzchak brings her into the tent of Sarai, his mother. He marries Rivka. She became his wife. And only then it says, and he loved her. Wait a minute. Today's world, you say, wait a minute. First comes love, then comes marriage, then comes the little baby carriage. No, there's a little song from 1920s over there. Love, marriage, baby carriage. Well, hold on a second. It's opposite. Yitzchak, what are you doing? Why don't you check it out? Date her for a little while. Kick the wheels a little bit. See what happens. Test it out. No. What are you doing, Yitzchak? Yitzchak is teaching us a lesson of life, all you youngsters. Before you got married, you don't even know what love is. You can tell yourself and her and him that you love them until you're blue in the face. It means zero. All you have is lust. You don't even know what the definition of love is until your first fight. Until you've gone through hell together. Until she doesn't look so good. Until he's in the hospital. Until he's broke. Until she's broke. Until something happens. You don't even know what love is, bichlal. You don't even know what love is. I love her. What love her? What do you love about her? What do you know about her? What's her favorite color? What's her dream in life? She loves me. Why does she love you? What makes her love? She makes me steak. Okay, so does the guy at the restaurant. I mean, he loves you. He made you steak also. He loves you also. She made you food, that makes she love you. He makes you food, that means he loves you. He bought you jewelry, your father bought you jewelry. The strange guy that wanted to rape you bought you jewelry. The Arab bought you jewelry. What, that means they love you? Well, Yitzchak Avinu says, I married Rivka. I married Rivka, then I loved her. Then I loved her. Why? Because love takes time all the time. This love at first sight nonsense, it's lust at first sight. You see somebody, you want them. That's lust. That's karet. That's karet. It's not love. It's karet. So, it's important to know the difference. It's important to know the difference. And we're going to go back to the same parasha because we're going to see how this Rivka and Yitzchak took this belief system, this full understanding of the emet, and utilized it with their children, Yaakov and Esav. So the Mishnah says, "Kol ahava shehi tluya bedavar, batel davar betela ahava." Any love that depends on a specific cause, when that cause is gone, the love is gone. Rashi says, it establishes the profound, this Mishnah establishes the profound principle that love, which is based on anything besides emotional closeness and true friendship, will simply not last. It will not endure. Superficial motivations create only temporary results. What is this like? This is no different than the desire for anything else in the world, even something as simple as desire for food. Now, after you look at the steak, if you haven't eaten all day, if you like steak, they tell you, want a steak? Yeah, I love steak. I love steak. Steak sounds delicious. Look at Amos right now. He's thinking about steak, right? I love steak. I love steak. Now after you finish eating the steak, all 16, 20 ounces of it, like it's half a cow. After you finish eating the steak, you still talk about the steak and how much you love it? Oh, wow, what a steak. What a nice steak. You know, steak, what a steak. I love that steak. It had such a good personality, that steak. That steak had a good personality. We matched, this, me and the steak. I'm gonna think about the steak tomorrow also. The minute you take your last bite, that steak is already a forgotten memory. It's a famous, funny saying, but it's true. A lot of musar from this saying. Does a fisherman like fish? Does a fisherman love fish? Does a fisherman love fish? You ask every fisherman in the world, what's your favorite thing to do? Fish. What do you love? Fish. What do you eat? Fish. Wait, hold on a second. If you love the fish, why do you eat them? Rabbi Yisrael Misalant, who I'm sure preceded this saying, once heard a few people talking, and they were talking about nonsense. They were talking about food. And one of the guys said, oh, I love chicken. I love chicken. Rabbi Yisrael, who is a living truth, says, you don't love chicken. If you love chicken, you wouldn't eat it. You wouldn't slaughter it. You love yourself. You love that it makes your fat belly fatter. That's what you love. The chicken, if you love the chicken, why are you killing it? Why are you slaughtering it? Yeah, but it's kosher. Okay, it's kosher. Doesn't mean you love it, though. Oh, okay, you could justify it as much as you want. Maybe the chicken wants to eat you. Yo Gilgul also. The chicken's going to come to you and say, Yo Gilgul, I'm going to eat you. I love you. I love you, Amos. I'm going to eat you. Fish at tzadikim. The fish tzadikim. So the lion says, Amos, Yo Gilgul, let me eat you. I love you. I love you. We don't love chicken. We don't love fish. We love what they make us feel, which is no more hunger. That's what we love. As soon as we finish eating them, we never thinking about them again. There's never a person on earth that's a normal person. I'm talking about normal people. Of course, there's an exception to every case. There's always going to be an unusual circumstance. I'm not talking about those crazy people. I'm talking about regular people. Regular people, if there's some left in the world. No one talks about the meal they had on Monday 3 months ago. Oh, 3 months ago, I had the steak, and it had this anchovies on it or something, and it had this mushrooms on it, and it had paro on it, and it had vegetables on it, and it had this on it. And no one talks about that. Why? He's talking about the steak he wants to eat now. He forgot about the steak from 3 months ago. Because once the desire is satiated, it's finished, it's gone, the feeling is gone, it's like it never happened. That's lust. Rabotai, that is lust. that is exactly, that satiation of hunger for food is no different once it's satisfied. Once the hunger is satisfied, it's no different than lust being satisfied. And that's why people get divorced. The Rav Hirsch, alav shalom, says marriages that break up, it's only because people confuse lust with love. That's it. It's the only reason why marriages break. There's nothing else. There's no other reason. No, but we had different beliefs. Okay, so why didn't you figure that out before you got married? Oh, he likes men. Okay, so how come he married a woman? Oh, she likes dogs. I don't want dogs. So how come you didn't figure it out before you got married? How come she doesn't like you more than the dog? And to say, you know what, I like dogs, but I love you. So the dog can stay in the picture. The dog can stay in my neighbor's house. Why doesn't she have love for you more than the dog? Why doesn't he have more love for you than his career? And people, when you ask them those questions, hey, they take it personal, like you're attacking them. Why are you attacking me? No, why don't you ask those questions before you got married? Because our Torah says that if you have a mate, that means that Hashem himself put it together. So now this Mishnah is trying to teach us something that most of the 8 billion people in the world, and all of the ones that lived before them, and unfortunately many of the ones that will live after them, will never know, even though they're convinced they know it, which is the real definition of love. Something that's as basic as air. Something that's as basic as food. We should know what love means. Unfortunately, we don't. If we did, divorce would not exist. If we did, there would never be fighting. If we did, disputes would rarely occur. That are, I'm not talking about disputes on minimal things or even halachic things. I'm talking about disputes that break relationships up. So the problem is that most of us define lust as love. We define lust as love. We define a desire as an emotional state of mind. Desire is something that you have that's temporary. Until it's satiated, it exists. Once that satiation wears off, it comes back again. That's a desire. As soon as it's satisfied, it's as if it never existed. Once you eat, it's as if you were never hungry. Once you have sex, it's as if you were never hot and you never really needed it, and there was never like, who are you again? What are you doing in my house? This is desire. This is pure lust. It's when it's fulfilled, it's as if it never existed. And quite frankly, sometimes it actually makes you disgusted of it. Disgusted that you ever had this desire. Love, on the other hand, love is something that does not go away. Love is not something that's temporary. Love is not something that is based on anything. Love simply exists once you know what it is. It simply exists without conditions. Love is much easier for a woman to understand because every normal woman has it for her children. The feelings that a woman has for her children, not always a father, the feelings that a woman has for her children are unexplainable. The fact that she's willing to die for her kid, even though he curses her out, is not a normal thing. If somebody cursed out a guy, the first thing they would get is the 5 fingers that he has in his right hand. Most guys don't want anyone to curse them out or yell at them. And if they had the ability, they'd react physically. If that person is their son or daughter, they may not get physical, but they'll definitely say something. Not always with a woman. Not always with a woman. Sometimes the nastier the child is, the more she loves him. The more she loves her. The more she feels bad for them. Oh, he's confused. oh, she's confused. Oh, she doesn't really know what she's saying. No, she knows. She's telling you all those things. She means it. No, she doesn't mean it. Why? Why do you say she doesn't mean it? It doesn't make any sense that you're saying it doesn't mean it just because she's your daughter. No, you don't understand. She's not my daughter. She's my body. She's not my daughter. No man is ever going to understand the love of a woman to their children. She's not my daughter. He's not my son. He's my body. He was inside my body. He was an organ, like my hand, like my head, like the brain, like the heart. You cannot tell me what my brain says. The brain is inside me. You can't tell me, stop loving your brain. It's really mean to you. What do you mean? It's my son. It's the same thing. So that's what men generally do not and cannot understand, because they cannot give birth. Thank God. But that's also why women have a much easier time understanding what love is, but also an easier time confusing it too. It's easy for them to understand it because they can understand the irrationality of love. That's not based on anything, but it's also very easy for them to become irrational themselves. Men, on the other hand, are more rational beings that things need to make sense. Things need to make sense in most cases. So when they see a wayward child, and the Torah says, yeah, we killed that wayward child, guys don't have a problem with that. You see, there's a parasha in the Torah, says there's a kid. He's younger than 13 years old. He's 12, 11 years old, and he overeats, and he drinks alcohol, and he's bad to his parents. He doesn't want to listen to anyone. Torah says we kill him. He's before Bar Mitzvah, though. We kill him. It never actually happened in reality. Some say it did. But the point is, we kill him. According to the Torah, if such a child existed at the time of Moshe Rabbeinu, the time of the Sanhedrin, they would kill him, even though he's only a minor. Why? Because they say, if he's like this now, against his own parents, he goes and curses his own parents, it's only a matter of time before he becomes a sinner against God. So it's better we kill him while he's still innocent against God. Because that's a crime you can't just fix by saying I'm sorry. Now, you tell this story to men, they don't have a problem with it for the most part. Unless they're feminine. Unless they're feminine and they think, no, there are some men that are feminine. They're more emotional and so on. And there you will have more of a problem with it. But most men will not have a problem with this story, with the logistics of the story. Yeah, the kid's rotten. Kill him. What's the problem? Kvod Hashem. Like they're like, think it's like their suit. It's good. What's the problem? It's a law of the Torah. Just like eating kosher. What's the problem? Anyone that's a isha met, there's no problem with this law. Women, on the other hand, cannot get themselves to think about this. Why? What do you mean? You're going to kill a son? You're going to kill a child? Because he's a bad kid? Immediately they minimize it. Why? Because to them, the child is his mother's organ. It's a body part. It's not it's not separate. It's not separate like it is for the father. So that's why it's something that the women understand the irrationality of love, while men have to work on it a little more.